Where do we go from here? How do we overcome, adapt, and thrive in a time of COVID? How do we look beyond the chaos that's occurring today to gain confidence in the future? I'm Andy Bush, and my job right now is to answer these questions for you. In this short video, we're going to answer where do we go from here and explore. What was the first thing you thought of when you heard you could work from home? Not having to commute? How about not wearing a suit? You know, no heels, no tie, maybe no pants for the Zoom calls? How about seeing your kids more? Or maybe even getting a dog? These all seemed great, except there's a serious downside to everyone working from home. What do we do with all the office space? In the same vein, what do we do with all the retail space for big malls that were closed during the shutdown as the retail apocalypse was put into hyperdrive? These were the worst hit sectors of the commercial real estate market, as any property with a public use feature was shunned. Offices, retail stores, hotels, sports complexes, entertainment venues, these were all seen as possible spreading locations for the virus and have either been shut down by states or had severe restrictions placed on their use. What's even worse is that these restrictions, they vary from state to state and made it extremely difficult for businesses to create plans to restart. But not all of work from home was bad for the housing industry. Commercial real estate is a $15 trillion market, and you probably don't know it, but you're an owner. 87% of public pension funds and 73% of private pension funds own real estate investments. As an example, one of the largest office building REITs is Paramount Group, and they own properties in New York, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. Now you can see how it performed during the shutdown and after. It hasn't been served a 10 count, but it's not getting up anytime soon. But not all of commercial real estate is on the canvas. The warehouse sector is growing rapidly. Yes, as everyone stayed at home, many of us ordered online to get things delivered and avoid the germ. And that included groceries and really just about everything else. And this is expected to keep growing despite overall retail sales dropping this year. This means that products have to be held in a warehouse and shipped. And this is why warehouses for places like Amazon, Walmart, Costco, and others are in high demand. Another example of a real estate winner is Prologis. Now, Prologis is a REIT that leases modern distribution facilities for B2B and retail online fulfillment. While it initially took a hit during the shutdown, it is now up for the year and looking pretty good. Another example is a REIT that is an owner, operator, and developer of communications real estate. You know, commercial real estate that's used for our digital infrastructure like telecommunication or servers. You know, as really pretty much everybody went online, demand for the sector soared, and this REIT did very well. And lastly, the disruption of supply lines from abroad has meant a shift away from global to local as industry attempts to shift from just-in-time inventories to just-in-case inventories, and we can't get it management. Let's talk about what's driving some good things in the housing market: low interest rates. Hey, our central bank cut short-term rates to zero and started buying U.S. Treasury securities and mortgage-backed securities, which contributed to mortgage rates dropping to all-time lows. This had the positive effect on home prices going up as demand increased due to cheaper mortgages. Also, there were a lot of millennials who had been holding off buying a home that decided, hey, maybe it's time to get out of an apartment and get their own home. Remember, there are 72 million of these millennials. if you can't go to a restaurant, if you can't go to a play, if you can't go to a bar to listen to music, and you can't go into an office, then why are you living in a city? And that's why we've seen a large increase in the number of people headed to the suburbs, where houses are usually less expensive, and you can get more square footage, maybe have a yard, and there's less people to be potentially exposed to the virus. And you know what else? Suburban schools are more likely to be open, and that reduces the homeschool pressure on parents who are likely working from home as well. You know, here in Chicago, in the suburbs, mortgage applications are up 40% since the pandemic started. Also, if you're going to work from home, why not get out of that apartment in the city and work from a house that may have a bigger space for a home office? You know, right now, the most sought-after home upgrade is a functioning or maybe even tricked-out home office. So much for the man cave. During COVID, people are ready to sacrifice the art museum for a backyard and their local Thai restaurant, maybe for an Applebee's, and maybe even their rooftop pool for a lawnmower. So let's circle back to work from home and how long this is going to go on. If a vaccine is developed and it's effective, will we go back to the way things were before? Now, it's not likely, but what if it's 60% or 70%, maybe even 80%? Right now, we just don't know. And this is all about dealing with uncertainty and risk. Even if there is a vaccine, will people feel comfortable getting on mass transit to come to work? Will workers feel comfortable going inside an office or an indoor space like a nightclub or a restaurant or a hotel? The most likely outcome, I think, for a time, will be a hybrid with some workers going back and others choosing to stay at home. Here's an example. REI, the outdoor recreation company, made a big announcement recently. Their brand new headquarters that they just built is going up for sale. And also, they announced their future headquarters is going to have multiple locations across the region. Now, all is not lost for office space in the city. I believe a really good percentage of workers will return because it's just hard to recreate all those wonderful interactions at an office as people commingle, communicate, collaborate, and create together. And we never want to lose that ability. Wrapping this up, today real estate is like the beginning of a tale of two cities. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times for real estate. But I believe there will be better times ahead. Next week, we'll answer the question, where do we go from here for the environment? If you want to get these videos every week, click on the subscribe button. If you like the show and you want to see more just like it, click on the next video and I'll see you in it. You can get all of my research at andrewbush.com. I'm Andy Bush. Thanks for watching.